Hello there, this is James S. Crofty, James 1978, and to be honest, the ghost of Watcher Azazel hasn't really put much effort into haunting me this Halloween at all, barely mustering a few drops of blood on my walls and half-heartedly moaning through the skull of its decapitated corporeal form, since apparently Blumhouse Productions has only released one film this year that wasn't part of an ongoing franchise, and having reviewed 10 of its movies and given my full opinion of both Blumhouse Productions and of the horror movie genre in general in last year's Halloween video, the link to which is listed down in the underbar, what is there for me to do this year except to state for the record that The Darkness is one of the laziest, most cliched and most formulaic horror movies that I've ever seen in my life, with horror in the most massive inverted commas imaginable, a film so pitiful in its execution and conception that it even puts many of the studio's other paint-by-numbers exercises in cash-in mediocrity to shame, and then knock off for an early lunch, because an autistic boy who sees what other people can't see, since obviously being neuroatypical gives you supernatural perception, check. Ancient Native American demons trapped in relics which are released when those relics are removed from sacred ground, check. Seriously, the only thing lazier and more obvious than those two horror movie cliches would be a superhuman serial killer in an isolated area attacking teenagers who have sex. Paint-by-numbers exposition, including an actual YouTube video which tells the protagonists exactly what's happening and exactly how to stop it about halfway through the film, and yet in spite of this, they still flap around like impotent donkeys until the supposedly climactic finale, double check, and the contractually obligated old wise woman who knows all about spirits, hauntings and so forth, who, along with her granddaughter, comes to help cleanse the House of Evil, and who I can only assume in the original script was supposed to be a Native American herself and speak Navajo or what have you, requiring her granddaughter to translate for her, which would have completely explained how the old wise woman had at least a working understanding of how to banish these ancient Native American spirits, but who in the finished film spoke Spanish, I can only assume because the Paranormal Activity series is supposedly massively popular among Latin Americans, meaning that this was yet another cynical ploy to appeal to that increasingly lucrative demographic. Triple check. Indeed, having described the 10 Blumhouse movies that I saw last year as being the result of the scripts for 10 short student movies being padded out into full-length feature films, although The Darkness is also padded like a haemophiliac toddler with the fussiest mother in the world, if we were to strip away all of the entirely superfluous subplots and insight into the characters' lives, including the father's would-be affair with his assistant and his previous affair with a woman who we never even see, the mother's descent into alcoholism and the sister's bulimia, the bullish, vulgar and unlikable boss, and his wife who is East Asian for no apparent reason as far as I can see, except to throw the crowd another diversity bone, there isn't enough actual material left to even hold up a short student film or short story, because come on, the supposed climax to this pile of mediocrity is so piss-weak, and the solution was explained so far in advance that all I could think was, okay, cool, it's over. Can I go to bed now? But apparently not, because there had to be the final patronising scene showing all of them sitting in the park in the sunshine, enjoying a proper loving family picnic, indicating that all of their problems were now over, when no. One of the main planks of the film, with no apparent payoff of any kind, was that long before he had ever released the demons by taking the relics home with him, the autistic boy's increasingly disturbed and quote-unquote creepy behaviour was tearing the family apart, especially because no one was talking about it, causing the father to have an affair and the daughter to begin purging months before the beginning of the story. So no, their family wouldn't suddenly become normal and happy merely because the demons are trapped again, but of course this is a Hollywood, or more specifically a Blumhouse movie, and as I explained last year, Blumhouse doesn't give a flying fig about the story itself, closure, or anything that appears appears on screen because his only criteria for producing a movie are that it's long enough to justify charging full price, and the trailer brings in a large enough audience to claw back 20, 50 or 100 times what he spent.